Across Latin America and the Caribbean, disadvantaged schools face severe teacher shortages. In Colombia, only 6% of teachers in high-income schools are uncertified, but in low-income schools, that number jumps to 26%. This pattern repeats across the region. Our most vulnerable students consistently lack qualified teachers. Governments have recognized this challenge. To attract certified teachers to hard-to-staff schools, they've offered salary increases to compensate for more difficult working conditions. Recent analyses show that these monetary incentives work. In Chile, a 16% salary bonus increased retention by 17 to 21 percentage points. Peru saw similar gains with bonuses of up to 30% of base salary. But there's a fundamental problem. These incentives are expensive. At 16 to 30% of base salaries, the fiscal burden becomes unsustainable for most education systems. Rio de Janeiro's government approached us with this exact dilemma. They needed a cost-effective alternative. In SCL, we began exploring how to incorporate behavioral economics into our knowledge and technical assistance agenda. We partnered with Nicolas Asserman, professor at McGill and then an IDB fellow, to explore whether behavioral interventions could complement or even substitute for monetary incentives. Our hypothesis: teacher sorting might not be purely economic. Information gaps, misconceptions, and identity considerations could be creating barriers that simple nudges can address. Luana, Nicolas, and I led our initial exploration in Brazil.
In Rio, one of our goals was to understand why the most qualified teachers were not applying to schools in favelas. Our focus groups revealed something interesting. Teachers working inside the favelas actually spoke very positively about their experience. They told us their students were engaged, families valued education, and they themselves felt they were making a meaningful difference. Now, teachers outside the favelas had a different view. They focused on the risks and believed they wouldn't make much of an impact. Although research shows that good teachers can significantly improve learning for vulnerable students. With that in mind, we designed interventions to highlight the social impact of teachers. We nudged teacher applicants to consider applying for hard staff vacancies in Rio de Janeiro by appealing to their altruistic identity. We sent messages such as, discover the schools where your impact matters the most. You can be a powerful agent of change for vulnerable children. After testing these different nudges in focus groups, we ran pilots with about 200 to 300 teachers in Rio. The interventions showed promise, but the sample size were too small to give us statistical power. We realized we need to scale up. And that's when Peru gave us that opportunity.
Peru gave us the perfect setting for a large randomized trial, with one central application system and more than 15,000 candidates. We could properly test our behavioral interventions. The country already had money incentive, like salary bonuses up to 30% of the base salary and quicker promotion for teachers who work in rural school. But when we spoke with teachers in Ayacucho, a region in the southern of Peru, we found that many didn't know which school actually offered these benefits. The information was officially public, but in practice, it was almost invisible. We adapted the social impact method from Brazil and ran 3-arm RCT. 1. Identity treatment. Message like, be the teacher driving change. 2. Extrinsic treatment. Clean incentive info. This school offers 500 soles extra per month. And the control group, neutral messages. We share these treatments through text messages, short online reflection, and pop-up on the platform. The results were positive and cost-effective. Application to disadvantaged school went up by 2 to 4 percentage points from a 46% baseline. The effect was stronger among male teachers, who are usually more willing to travel longer distance for work. The cost was very low, about $13 extra per teacher attracted to hard-to-staff school. Identity message work especially well with high-performer teachers, while simplified money information had good effect across most groups.
More recently, Ecuador adapted our approach and found even larger application effects. Education ministries from Guyana to Guatemala have expressed interest in testing similar behavioral strategies to reduce teacher shortages. Our research shows that low-cost behavioral interventions, whether priming altruistic identity or simplifying information about existing incentives, can influence employment decisions in high-stakes contexts. When budgets are tight, these approaches offer scalable alternatives to expensive salary premiums. The core insight: teacher sorting isn't purely economic. By addressing psychological frictions and information gaps, we can make progress toward educational equity at a fraction of the traditional cost.